Today we're diving into something absolutely fascinating, the actual neurobiology of joy. A lot of us treat happiness like it's this final destination, right? Like it's a magical place we're going to arrive at once everything in our life is perfectly sorted out, our inbox is finally at zero, and the stars just align. But science tells a wildly different story. Happiness isn't a place you arrive at. Actually, it's a trained neurobiological skill. So I have to ask, are you waiting for the perfect moment to feel happy? Because it's a total universal illusion. We constantly tell ourselves that happiness is going to finally unlock when we earn a little more money, when we snag that big promotion, or when life just, eventually settles down. But chasing these major life upgrades, it usually just leaves us utterly burned out, forever waiting on a horizon we literally never reach. Okay, let's dive into this. We have this deeply ingrained myth that dramatic breakthroughs and sudden wealth are the ultimate keys to joy. But the science shows us something totally different. Your brain doesn't actually change through exhausting dramatic intensity. No way. It rewires itself through neuroplasticity, specifically through tiny, repeated, daily microactions. To help you master this rewiring, here is our daily roadmap for your brain. 1. The happiness arrival myth. 2. Morning wiring for possibility. 3. Daytime, building neurological momentum. 4. Connection, brain's safety signal. 5. Evening, storing the good. And 6. Your new emotional baseline. We're basically going to follow the natural rhythm of your day to demystify how these tools fit effortlessly into a busy life.
Let's start with part 1, the happiness arrival myth.
The secret to rewiring your brain lies in microhabits. These are small behaviors your brain doesn't resist, yet they are powerful enough to slowly reset your emotional baseline through daily repetition. Think of it like a giant puzzle, or better yet, small, continuous drops of water that eventually carve out a massive canyon. The absolutely crucial point here is removing resistance. If a new routine is too hard, your brain's evolutionary defenses will just reject it outright. We need actions so incredibly tiny that they slip right past those defenses. Moving on to part 2, morning, wiring for possibility. The very moment we wake up is critical. See, our brains have an evolutionary negativity bias, an automatic scanning for threats that kept our ancestors alive but kind of just keeps us stressed out today. To override that, we need to talk about the reticular activating system, or RAS. This is the neural network that decides what your brain actually notices all day. So our first strategy is beautifully simple. Name one good thing right after you wake up, before you check your phone, before your feet even hit the floor. By intentionally searching for something positive, you activate the RAS to look for the good, literally teaching your brain to default to possibility rather than stress. 5 seconds. Seriously, that is all it takes. Just 5 seconds of naming a good thing to create a completely different lens for your entire day. That is the ultimate definition of a microhabit. Our next strategy is getting morning light. Sunlight is, quite literally, your brain's start button. Morning light isn't just nice to look at, it's literal neurological fuel. Stepping into natural light for just 1 minute regulates your circadian rhythm and boosts serotonin for a steady, grounded mood. And look, you don't need a massive morning hike. Just open a window or step onto a balcony. 1 minute of the morning sky is one of the most powerful mood regulators you possess. Next up, part 3, daytime, building neurological momentum. As we roll into the active part of your day, you're going to need to handle inevitable stress and manage your productivity. So our next tool is all about celebrating tiny wins. You finish a small task, you resist the urge to procrastinate, or maybe you just make a healthy choice for lunch. Most of us emotionally gloss right over these moments. Don't. Neuroscience shows that acknowledging micro-progress triggers dopamine. That dopamine physically reinforces the neural pathway that says this matters, and over time, that repetition builds real lasting confidence. But what about when things inevitably go wrong and stress hits? Enter another vital strategy, 3 slow breaths. When you're about to open a terrifying email or step into a really difficult conversation, I want you to physically slow down. Just pause. Take a long, deep inhale and an even longer exhale. Let's just sit with that for a second. We want to slow it all down.
So the crucial point is understanding why this works so incredibly well. It works because of the parasympathetic nervous system. This is the internal network activated by deep breathing that steadies your heart rate and softens your reactions within seconds. Happiness isn't the magical absence of stress. No, it's the trained ability to return to calm faster, using this exact system for parasympathetic regulation.
Part 4, connection, brain's safety signal. True emotional rewiring doesn't just happen isolated inside our own heads. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is the chemical reaction tied to an incredibly simple social action. This tool involves sending just one positive message a day, a super quick text saying, "Hey, I appreciate you," or "You did great today." Doing this releases both dopamine and oxytocin in your brain. It literally stops your brain from seeing the world as a hostile place and instead creates a profound, deeply rooted sense of psychological safety. Bringing us to part 5, evening. Storing the good.
Nighttime is typically when we lay in bed staring at the ceiling, right? Endlessly replaying that awkward thing we said 5 years ago. But I really want you to remember this powerful quote. Memory isn't a recording device, it's selective. If you fail to intentionally revisit the good moments from your day, your brain is just going to quietly delete them over time. It naturally holds on to the stressful threats and completely deletes the quiet joy.
To combat that quiet deletion, our final daily strategy is to ask yourself, what went well today? And listen, you don't need to search for major life-changing events, just simple, positive moments. Reflecting on what went well is absolutely essential for memory consolidation. It deeply stores the evidence that despite whatever stress popped up, your life undeniably contains good. Finally, part 6, your new emotional baseline.
And this brilliantly illustrates the entire system we've just built together. These microscopic daily actions fundamentally and physically reshape your brain. You are systematically training your brain chemistry here. Getting morning light grants you serotonin. Celebrating tiny wins fuels you with dopamine. Sending a positive message bathes your brain in oxytocin. You are effectively returning to calm and joy without needing any dramatic, exhausting life overhauls.
So what does this all mean? I want to leave you with this provocative final thought. What is this teaching my brain to feel tomorrow? Don't ask if one tiny habit will magically fix your entire life today. Instead, I challenge you to pick just one micro habit from this explainer today. Make it an automatic part of your routine and just watch how your emotional baseline gradually and beautifully transforms. Thank you so much for joining me.